Now's for the most exciting part of our meeting today. We'll be hearing from Ram Seshan. As you've heard already, he's the CEO of Chatstasy. He's spoken to our committee in the past. He's an active member of the chamber and of our committee, and we know that he has a robust internship program to help develop his app. I had the privilege of attending a meeting that he had with his interns and volunteers and supporters to close his internship program. It was held at Pacific Ridge, where many of his interns were students, but he has them from many other places as well. He had a very big program, and he's going to share that with us so that we get some tips and tricks how to create an internship program that's as successful as his. So thank you, Ram, for being here. We look forward to your presentation. Take it away.
All right, let me see. Okay, let me see if you can see my screen.
Yep, we can see it.
You can see it, right? Okay, let me do. Okay. All right. Okay. So my intern is going to join. So if there is any issue, please let her in. So her name is Margaret Lee. She already signed up. All right. Thank you very much, Teresa, for that wonderful, wonderful introduction. And thank you very much for suggesting so I could present today. And of course, thanks to the committee for this opportunity to present before you. All right, so let's move on to looking at the agenda. What I'm going to talk about. Okay, I'm going to talk about Chatstasy's summer internship, the internship that I had last year, 2019. So I'll give you an overview of the internship and then how to go about creating a similar internship program. Maybe there's a variation. I will tell you some of the plans that went into how to create that program, how to market and recruit. Along the way, I will also give you tips on how I did for Chatstasy, and then how the orientation, that is very important. Management and marketing is another very, very important aspect of the internship. And then completion, reporting, and survey, and certificates and awards. And at the end, we'll have a Q&A. And of course, Margaret is already here. Good to see you, Margaret. So Margaret will be speaking to you at the end, so you can ask questions to us about anything you want to see. Let's get on. Okay, so this internship is a 6-week non-monetary internship between July and August of 2019. The objective of this internship to beta test the Chatstasy consumer app. The app is, there are 2 apps, obviously, it's a completely different app. One on iPhones and one for Androids, right? So that is what the internship was all about. And there were 35 applicants for that app. So 35 applicants, they are from high schools and colleges. And out of 35 applied, 27 completed the program. I'll tell you what that means to be a completion, right? And then out of the 27, 17 are local to San Diego, 10 are out of town from Arizona, Illinois, Texas, and even one from India participated in this. So it is truly a global internship program, and you can imagine some of the issues that goes with this, right? All right, okay. What is internships about? Okay, to test various app features, right? The app has a whole number of features. Test those features, report the findings, and collaborate with other interns. That is very important. A lot of work needs collaboration. When they find something, they have to publish in collaboration. I'll tell you a little bit how they did that. And then do weekly reporting, just like you do the corporate weekly reporting, what they did during the week, what they're planning to do the week following, the week next week, and some feedback. That is their requirement for the internship. And what do they expect to do, interns to do? Again, this is now we are talking about some of the how to plan and the program, right? The first aspect is, hey, what do you want the interns to do? you need to have a very clear idea, whether it's going to be a single activity. In Chatstacy's case, it was just a single activity. All interns did only one thing, which is testing the app, right? It could be multiple activities. So right now I have an internship going on right now. And there are two activities. One is to do research on various things. I've given them tasks. Another one is going to happen. It's going to be testing new features for that app, right? And you can have multiple activities and then recruit interns based on their qualifications. So what are some other important qualifications that you're looking for? It's very important because when you are recruiting an intern, just like your corporate employee, so you need to know what they are good at and what they are planning. In my case, again, every school kid nowadays have an app. They love to play with the app. They love to chat, love to make a call and break an app. In fact, that's exactly what I was looking for. So it fitted that requirement perfectly with my audience who I wanted, right? Then the third most important aspect is, do you want to pay? To pay or not to pay is the question, right? Again, it's very complex based on how much you want to pay, what this payment is, in what way, and all that. I leave it to you, your corporate goals and financial goals and what you can. It's up to you. But in my case, it's a free app. And I had what, like told you, 30 plus. I need more people to test this app because there are enormous number of variations of uh, the devices that needs to be tested, and so many features. So you look at that, and I could not afford to pay. So that's what I did, and I'll tell you what in lieu of payment, what we all did later on. And then another important aspect is IP protection. Now you're going to be bringing in interns, and they're going to be working on something that could be proprietary to you, copyrighted or whatever. It's something that you're not rolled out to public, and maybe, so you need to have a very, very good NDA and internship contract. In fact, for my internship, that is the most expensive part. I did not cut corners. I had my lawyer draft out very robust NDA contract for each intern, and then I made them sign. If they are there are two types of contract. I'll tell you, in my case, if they are an adult, the 18 and over, there is one contract, and if they are 18 and under, many of them are, I had another contract that has to have signature of their parent or a guardian, because that's very important. So in your case, you need to think about that. It's pretty important what is needed in case. I'm sure it may not be needed, hopefully, but in case, but you got to cover yourself. So don't forget that. Protect yourself. It's very, very important when you are doing an internship program in this day and age. Now, what is in it for interns, right? Why do you want interns to come on board and help you out, right? In my case, I did certificates. They really need certificates to show that they have experiences. It's very important because they want to differentiate themselves even for college apps, leave alone work. And then they can use this certificates and recommendation letters to get more internship later on in their life. So that is very important. So certificates, awards, you can, in my case, I did the award. I'll show you, tell you what those awards are later on. And of course, for college apps, they need recommendation letters. It's a very important part of the college apps, and several of my interns asked me to be part of their recommendation advisors, and I did recommendation letters, and of course references. When they are applying for a job, they are applying for another internship, you could you could be their references, right? These are all some of the things that is in for interns, and of course experience, which I didn't add it in here, which is also very important. The experiences counts in for them. Anything they can do, it's along what they want to do when they go to college or beyond. This internship is very, very important in good step in the direction. Okay. Now comes the very, very tough part, which is how to engage them effectively, right? And in my case, there are 30 of them, right? 30 teenagers, right? Many of them. How do you engage them? It's a pretty difficult task in itself when you think about it, but planning is everything. You got to have clear guidance. What are they going to do? And clear expectations. That those two are very, very, very important. And you got to plan ahead, spend the time to tell them exactly what they're doing. That way, it's not like many of the jobs are working in fast food restaurants and bang, 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 you have a procedure, but many times you forget. They need to be told what they want to. So let me show you. In my case, and guidelines and expectations, I had 3 levels of testing I want them to do. Level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 is an easy, all the test cases are pretty easy. Level 2, some of them are a little difficult, so it's a moderate level. Level 3 is pretty complex test cases, right? There are a total of 240 test cases scenarios I created. And the level 2 alone is 100, they got to complete 180 scenarios. They need to complete level 2 to get certification. That is, all of them need to do at least end of level 2 to get the certification. Otherwise, they did not complete the internship. I will not give them recommendation. I told them very clearly, no recommendation letters, and because you did not complete the certification, they did not. It's more like that, right? So that is an expectation that they need to do, and I made that very clear to them, and they know what these are, right? These level 2, I'll show you what and all that, right? And then marketing and recruitment. It's not easy to find 30 plus people. Where are they? So flyers and posters. I created a flyer that you see in here, and then I printed these flyers and posted them in Starbucks, in libraries around in Carlsbad and around that area to make sure that the audience, kids see that. More importantly, their parents see this one. That's very important. Right off the top, you see ages 12 to 20 years on summer break. Wow. I am a parent. I'm looking for something for my daughter or son to do. I look at it. I am all ears, right? And go through that and what is that for them. And right there, it very clearly states that no prior experience is needed, no monetary compensation, and certificate of accomplishment will provide recommendation references and all that, right? So that is very important. And orientation, I will talk about that a little later. That is also, it's a flyer that you are promoting, right? So you can also post it on social media. It's excellent medium. I am connected to a gazillion people out there, and Facebook, and then my daughter is connected on Instagram, and we did social media posting, and then I created online registration form. You can see that app features, and please enroll at chatstasyApp.com. So when they go to chatstasyApp.com, right on the landing page, there is a button to click register for summer internship. They click on that one, they go to a registration online form that asks some questions, it's an intake. So that comes to me, right? And that is very important. The moment they come on, then I have the email address, part of my onboarding. I immediately send this NDA execution. It's a digital one. I used HelloSign. There are several other online signature. It's much easier to do it that way. Immediately that is sent to them, and they need to turn it in. It's very important. If they don't turn it in, you can coax them, and they are not part of the internship program. So that is very important. Right away, I did that, right? And then internship orientation. Internship orientation, I made it mandatory because that's very important. I have so many people sign up. I need to give them guidance. I need to do a lot of things. They need to understand what it's all about. So I had, I took the Carlsbad library, one of those in there, a room in there, and then had my internship. And because many of the interns are out of town, I did a webcast, and they were all participating on the seminar on time. So I picked the time that is convenient, except for the Indian guy. The Indian guy, it was at 1:30 at night in the morning, but he did come on board, right? So that is the internship orientation, where I explained the roles and responsibilities and the beta testing activities, and most importantly, training. Right, many of these interns have never been an internship program, and they don't know what to do. So I have to train them. I'll show you what training I did a little later. So that's very important, and teach them the tools and techniques. Right, there are many tools they can download when they are testing an app. So I have to show them the tools and some of the techniques. I got to teach them. So that's what the seminar is all about, and that is very important mandatory activity out there. All right. In my case, the responsibilities in the Chatstasy side, it's a beta testing. And then I told them they have to log all the observations on a spreadsheet. I gave them all a specific spreadsheet that you see in here, which gives you the test case number and then the feature they are testing. The test script tells them exactly what they are looking for, whether it is applicable to Android or applicable for both or just one of them, and any of their observations and remarks that they have to log on another column on the right hand side. So this is their spreadsheet. This is what they use. This is what they turn it in. I give them level 1. They go through the level 1. Upon turning the level 1 back to me, I'll send them level 2. That's how it works. And then level 3 if they complete that. And then they need to do all these things in that 6 weeks program, right? I give them time of any help they need. Observe all on the spreadsheet, report problems, bugs using the spreadsheet. And then of course they have the website. There is a place in the website where they can actually log, and it creates a ticket in the back end, and then even in-app within the app, they can actually log the issues and any problems and questions, and then they need to look for new builds. And along the way, I did create new builds and new fixes, small things, and they have to install that and read the release notes. They were being taught during this orientation what they are supposed to do. All right, software testing, it's part of the training program, right? You need to train. In your case, you will have your own type of training program. In my case, hey, look, there are bugs, there are feature bugs, there are compatibility bugs, there are performance bugs, usability bugs, design bugs, right? These are all, my goodness, it's wait a minute, I saw bugs are bugs, but not necessarily. So I really make them train them to be a software entomologist. You see, that is what it's all about, right? You got to do what? You got to do observation, classification, and then reporting. That's exactly what they did. They have to observe. They have to make sure that they reproduce that bug. They have to be very clear. It is a bug. It is an issue. Not necessarily, sometimes there's an issue which is actually a feature. Let's not go in that, right? It's an observation, classification, and reporting. They got to do that. They got to collaborate with them. Sometimes when they observe something, they need to get a collaborate or corroborate with other testers. They can we created a chat group within Chatstasy, one for Android users, one for iPhone users, and they get to discuss that. They post, hey, I see this bug. This is when I was testing test case number 23, I saw this one. Do you see that? And that's very important because sometimes it could be your device. Sometimes you are the only thing. That is collaboration. They did that very well. And then they classify what type of a bug it is and report that into the website through the app and send me things. So that is what it is. Testing methodologies. What is happy path testing? Happy path testing is all going through what I told them to test. And sometimes you need to do sad part testing. You got to do what happens if I do this and what happens then. right? That's very important when you're testing a software or a app. It's extremely important. I told them they have to be devil's advocate and do the sad path testing. In level 3, even they go, I even asked them to write their own test cases. They know now that they know what this app is doing. They have done so many test cases. After about 200 plus test case, the testing of the features, now they could write their own test, complex test cases, and test it and report. Several of them did that. I was pleasantly surprised at their level of insight and how effectively they can fit into being software testers. And it's amazing to see them with very little effort, and I can train them what they could bring in, at which created wonderful, which is a double-edged sword actually. Because of those, many of these test cases that they wrote, some of the test results they got, after the July, August, I was supposed to, I thought, hey, this is fantastic. I could release the app in September. Guess what? I could not release the app until way back in March of next year. See, software takes its own course, and we discovered so many issues and structural. So that is fantastic in a way. You don't want to release software when it's not ready out there, right? Management and monitoring is another very important aspect of all this internship program, right? Weekly status reporting every Friday by email. They're supposed to send me a short, we call them in our jargon 515 report, right? Takes you 15 minutes and to develop, and maybe 5 minutes for me to read, and what they accomplished during the week, how much time did they spend, which is also very important. I don't want them to be spending too much time. So I want to know, hey, I spent 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day, or whatever they want to, which is very important in this case. And are they turning in test results when they are done? That is very important for monitoring. Are they progressing? They're sitting on, I need to coax them. I need to ask them questions. Hey, what's going on? Text them. Engage them. That's very important. So you have interns, don't just let them and forget about them. Please probe them, talk to them. Nowadays you can see them, right? So in person. So you got to effectively engage them in routine meetings and whatnot. Okay. Are they working effectively with other interns? You need to monitor their collaboration. Maybe you are part of the chat group and monitor the chat. Look at what's happening out there. There could be some ways they are not communicating effectively. You may want to talk to them one-on-one and tell them, hey, this is not the way to effectively ask them to help you. This is, you make it do it this way. And then most importantly, are they responding? So many of the interns, in my case, remember there were 35 of them engaged and only 27 completed. It's because many of them signed up. Some of them even came for the orientation, and then poof, they disappeared. After the first week, oh, this is not what they want to do, and they kind of disappeared on me, and that's okay. I can send them an email, and if they don't complete level 1, they don't complete level 2, that's okay. So they dropped out. That's very important part of it. Okay, so this is what I did for monitoring and in Chatstasy. I created an activity spreadsheet for every intern, right? And then look in their assignment signature, right from the signature, agreement signature, I had them, okay? They signed it, their parents signed it, right? They created a profile in Chatstasy, download the Chatstasy, I give them. And then I give them points. And if they completed week 1, I give them 2 points. Like that, they earn points. And then there were 2 surveys. I will tell you what they are. And when they completed the survey, they get points. And then completing level 1, level 2, and level 3, they get points also. They accumulate these points. And then I even give them score for their participation. That is another thing which I was monitoring. Hey, how well effective are they? Are they responsive? Are they engaged? Are they enthusiastic? I give them points. So I told them they're going to be reviewed. They're going to be doing all these things. So the milestones they completed, deliverables they completed, the timeliness, the rating. So I did all that in a very large spreadsheet and followed them along the way. And if I see something, like in this case, there's an intern who did not even complete the agreement signature. That is a yellow flag. I tried to revive them, and then they did not complete, but they did send me some stuff, and it's very weird sometimes. So I just, it's an example in here. I didn't even let them go through the internship beyond the first week anyway, right? So there could be some issues, and you can flag it and then follow along. And then completion and reporting. When the internship ends, what do they do, right? And it's a final report. I asked them to put together a final report, major accomplishment, what they learned, their thoughts and feedback, and they have to take 2 surveys, right? And about the internship, survey 1, and then about the app, what they find the app, some features, what do you think in the new feature, what do you think about this feature, and would you use this, and all kinds of things. And those are the 2 surveys they have to complete at the end of their internship. And then I gave them certificates to them. So depending upon where they are, so if they complete the bare minimum, they get a standard certificate. That is, you see it in here. The summer internship program, as a beta test of a Chatstasy app, they get the certificate. If they went beyond level 2 and completed level 3, they get a blue star distinction certificate. So many of them completed the whole thing, so they get this blue star certificate, right? And then even instituted several awards. One of the awards is called a Spark Award. It's an intern who completed all 3 levels of testing on time, provided all the reports on time, provided many valuable feedbacks. I'm looking for the, hey, I did that, works great. Rather than doing works great, they went beyond. Hey, this part of it could do better. I saw this one. They went beyond that and showed me some of the things and showed me that enthusiasm and commitment. And that intern got an award and an Amazon gift certificate with that, right? That is a Spark Award. Now I also had an MVP award, right? And most valuable intern award, and which is similar to Spark Award, but they went beyond all that. And then I asked them to, for testing purpose, you need to have many testers with you. You need to engage. So one of the aspects of the testing is you need to have all your friends and family download the app and test along with you. And that is one of the criteria, and the number of people you have done that, recruited that. I asked them to report that in their reporting. So I was looking for that. And then they also get an award, physical award, and then Amazon gift certificate that went along with this award, right? What did they do? At the end of this internship, when I did an app launch celebration. That is when I invited most of you to that celebration, and Teresa came over and then witnessed it's all about, the app, and its friends and family and mentors and other people came on board, and it's about the beta program, and did all this distribution, and telecasted this live. They did that so people can join from other parts of the country and from India. Even my development group from my Indian based outfit also joined in the middle of the night. Along with that, introduced them to be and part of this internship program, what it's all about. They all learned about the app out there. And then awards, I even did door prizes for many of those people who came on board, and kind of marketed it that way. It's a fantastic reception on that. And this is when they received the award, and this is a good time for you to introduce you to one of our interns, Margaret Lee, who is one of the Spark awardee from our internship program. She's a senior at Canyon Crest Academy. I'm sure she's going to talk about her experiences, what she got and all that, introduce herself. So Margaret, you are on. Can you take it away?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Margaret. Thank you, Ram. So I learned about this internship from my dad. His coworker, I guess, emailed his other coworkers. And so my dad told me about it, and so I was really interested in it because I never had done an internship before, so I wanted to have an experience with it. So during the orientation, we of course learned the background of the app, the goals. He was clear on our responsibilities, of course, different bugs, since that's what our task was, to report on the kinds of bugs and issues that we had. He told us like how to use the basics of the app, but he really emphasized like exploring and going above and beyond of what he just said. And at the end, he talked about the rewards. So during the internship, he would send a test script every week. I completed the task with comments for each of the jobs. And then along with that, I would send a weekly report at the end of the week with accomplishments and issues and feedback. In terms of the feedback, I would try to think of ways to make the app better. Like think of how apps that I use, like what features they have and what Chatstasy could have as well. And Ram would email back, and he was very encouraging. So that was really uplifting and great. So during the internship, I learned how hard it is to make an app. Like there are so many different and small problems that you wouldn't even think that you could have. So yeah, and I thought it was really cool to be part of an app before its launch. It was my first internship. I thought I had a good experience. And in regards to the app, I could really feel Ram's enthusiasm. So it made me feel like, oh, I'm like a part of something. It's really cool. And it just made me excited to be a part of the internship. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Let me see if can go back. What else do we have? Next slide. Share my slide and see what is next. I think next is Q&A, right? Where is that? All right. Okay, that's it. So it's Q&A. Good time for you to ask any questions you might have for me and for Margaret.
Well, I would like to make a comment. You did an excellent job in working with your interns. You have to work at it. You have to supply them with the definitive stuff. You have to make the experience really real. And it's not easy managing interns. I find the same thing in companies when they have an advisory board and they let it sit. You have to be interactive. You have to think ahead. You have to give goals. You have to give it rewards. You have to make sure that they feel they're really a part of it. And I think you did an excellent job. You set a good pattern.
Oh, thank you so much. Absolutely, that's really appreciate it.
I just have another comment too. I'd want to add, like, one thing I think if you're interested in having interns for your business or whatever, one thing I think would be super productive would be to figure out with your interns what system kind of works best for your company or what you want them to do. Because there's so many effective strategies that Ram brought up, which were really cool, which I never even thought of, which is great, especially if you're in high school for certificates. And, it's so important. But for example, like with my internship with Teresa's campaign, it's a lot of us are college students. We're on a whole, different operating thing. And so most of our meetings are super discussion based. We're able to have like a lot of conversations about what we're trying to figure out, and it's super dynamic. And I would say don't be afraid to treat your interns very, equal to you in what your jobs you want them to do, and include them. And, it's inspiring to feel really part of these programs, like with Chatstasy, with this campaign. So I would just reiterate, if you have the space for interns, in whatever you're doing. I think a lot of the students around here would really appreciate the opportunities, because it really is important right now for us.
That is fantastic. That's very important, right? There are many different aspects of the internship, and every company, their internship and what they do is very different. And most importantly, like what you alluded to, is that this opportunity is extremely valuable as you go beyond, and it's nothing can take away from working with professionals in the industry or any industry for that matter, because you have to learn the basic skills of working with people, especially in a corporate environment. So internships are extremely valuable. I strongly encourage, it's a win-win proposition for every company out there. Even if you're not thinking, please give the opportunity, because now it's more and more important, because now now the SAT is now become optional for businesses universities, right? Now, how do kids differentiate themselves? They really need opportunities to differentiate themselves. So internship is one of many, and encourage them. It's okay if you don't need them, you think about, but you will be surprised how much value they bring on. I was floored at their age. I absolutely was, comparatively speaking, in age wise, when they are 16, in terms of my knowledge, I might be probably 6 months, right? How much they know, how much they bring in. So any other questions? I see some in the chat, a couple of questions out there. Let me see if I can take that. Will this PowerPoint presentation will be available? Of course, I will send it to you, John. Maybe you can distribute this to others. I can, it's nothing there. I can put this into a PDF and send it out to you so that you can go through that and ask me any questions. I'll put my contact also on the last slide so that you know where to contact me, right? And then of course the video is available. I believe if we are recording it, I see that. So John can speak to that. And then from Larry, there is a question. Though this interns opportunity last year, but are you still seeking new interns? If so, what the qualification needed to someone to be considered? Okay, right now I have interns, right, as we speak, right? I have not 30, I have about a handful of folks doing 2 tasks. One of them is they're waiting because my app is the new version of the app is not ready yet, and it's going to be ready hopefully because of all this COVID, and it's getting delayed. Hopefully by next month. I'm waiting, and then I'm asking them to do research on the emergency numbers of different countries in the world, and also on COVID, what each country is doing for COVID and COVID related information. So those are the 2 things they are currently doing research on. If you have, I still have work for them to do. If you have somebody interested, connect with me, ask them to contact me, and of course I will provide them with all that certificate or recommendation. And it may not be very engaging in the sense, because I do have a set of features, but those are not as exhaustive as before. But definitely I'm one of the part of the engagement of this internship is to regression test the app. That means I will provide them with that 240 test cases, which they will be going through because they need to go through, learn the app. That's the best way to learn. So if there is somebody who is itching, please let me know and I can engage them for weeks. So don't hesitate. Yes, Teresa.
I have a question. How helpful were the schools for you in bringing in students? Because I found in recruiting that the schools didn't really send out the information to the kids. It was mostly word of mouth and direct emails in terms of my 7. Although when I was a professor at Maricosta College, I was a faculty advisor to 1 intern at a time. And they gave them 1 credit at Maricosta College to do an internship. through the business department, and then they assigned them a faculty advisor, but it was only 1 or 2 at a time out of thousands of kids. It's not, and like you said, people need this opportunity. They're only giving it, to just a few people, but there's a bigger need out there. So were the schools helpful to you in getting students?
Yeah. Okay. So first, that is good. Very, very good question. Because first I approached Pacific Ridge School where our daughter goes to, and also the San Marcos College out here, right? Cal State San Marcos, and then engaged with them, signed up with them, Cal State San Marcos as a company wanting to do internship, and then went through their program, only to find this is exactly the roadblock I faced, which is they wanted a lead time. So by the time I went through all that, because of the way my app is, unfortunately, I could not really give them a time, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, way back 6 months or 4 months earlier. And then like you said, I needed more people. And they wanted to engage one intern at a time. And some of the interns were looking for a monetary compensation and credits. And so there are a lot of issues like that. So my internship in my company, unfortunately, I could not engage them in that formal way. So I said, okay, well, I could not engage with you, but still in PRS, POP, they did help me promote it, or at least word of mouth within their school. And definitely if you want this many people and it's important for you, maybe you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe that's something that we can work on even as a chamber, Brett, and talking to the schools, to our education committee, say, hey, we've got a lot of members that would love to connect with you to do internships. Let's find a better way to do it because we're unable to reach your students. I
think we have a committee, right? Subcommittee out there for engaging with schools. Maybe that's an excellent task for them.
Yeah, we do have an education committee, but the Pacific Ridge, as you mentioned, has probably, at least from what I've seen so far in my short time here in Carlsbad, the most well-developed internship program already. We were actually going to be taking an intern from their school in the spring, specifically for our communications department. But then when COVID hit and everybody had to work remotely, it just didn't work practically for us. So at the chamber, I'm speaking of course, but yes, we would love to be involved in fostering more broad internship opportunities for the high school kids, for our members.
Brett, I also used, we've been having interns for about 5 years. We don't have an issue with the one-off because we can only take 2 interns at our time. We take 1 paid intern and we take 1 unpaid intern. I used High Tech High. They had an actual internship program. And so because they were kind of providing like a steady stream of interns, our high school program was specifically kind of built around to accommodate meeting some of those standards and requirements. So I found that really easy because, every summer I would have, a High Tech High intern. Unfortunately, because of state regulations and local regulations, we could not take on any more, we could only take juniors as part of their internship program and not seniors, because they said they have to be in the office. You have to be watching them 24/7 and for them to get credit. So we actually had to, halfway through an internship, we actually had to pull our intern and said, well, we're a digital agency and we're trying to give a realistic approach of how we actually work. And we only were in the office 2 days out of the week. So we'd be in the office with the intern 2 or 3 days a week and they'd have stuff to do outside. So that was kind of unfortunate that we had to change that. But I found that the high schools and the colleges that have specific programs tended to be good funnels. And I also say that I've gotten interns through Carlsbad Chamber, not because Carlsbad Chamber has a dedicated internship section, but mainly because a lot of the interns look to the chamber to find companies that they want to intern with. So it is like an already kind of like a hot marketplace where I've gotten 3 interns who found us through the chamber website over the years and then come and intern with us. And it's been a really positive experience. So I think it's something that could definitely be developed, even just to say, just even putting up a page on the chamber website and saying, hey, if you're looking for internships, these are all the companies in the chamber that are offering internships. And I guarantee there would be interns that would come through and look and apply, and that could, be somewhat helpful. I've gotten interns from Cal State San Marcos, Miracosta, and Palomar. I've had pretty positive experiences with all of those, but our programs are structured around those local systems because that's where we know that those interns actually come from.
Chuck, did you have a question?
I did, thank you. Ram, terrific presentation, and kudos for your management system it's hard enough to manage 30 people in an office environment. You did it very successfully remotely. What I wanted to do is recommend you reach out to the National Foundation for Autism Research. They're based here in San Diego, and they have a technical program that offers training in software quality assurance and software testing to people with autism. And what they found is that people suffering from autism really have the skills that are good for testing. And this is something that Microsoft and SAP have taken advantage of. It really plays to their strengths of technical aptitude, logical thinking patterns, inclination for repetitive work, attention to detail. They're local here in San Diego, but you might have some success partnering with them.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm just writing it down. And if you have any contacts, send it my way. Okay.
I don't, but I'm familiar with it. Been familiar with the program for a couple of years.
I do.
Okay.
I have contacts for that program. It's based in Poway. It's a great program. One of my sons went through it, and he has Asperger's, and he got trained. He got certified with an international certification in software testing. And through NFAR that Chuck was mentioning, he ended up getting an internship at Qualcomm, and that later turned into a full-time paid job for him. He's working there now, so which is awesome. And but their program at NFAR is great. Actually, I tried to get them to join the chamber to come up here so that we could help them expand their North County, width and breadth. And I almost had them. So now that Chuck just mentioned that, I'm going to go back to them and say, hey, come on, you guys join my chamber so I can truly promote you. You got some great companies up here who would love to have your interns.
Morgan, did you have a question?
I was just going to say, I think another good contact if you're a business owner looking for interns would be if there's any way to get in contact with advisors from a college. I went to UNLV, and with my major, it was required an internship and then 1,000 hours in the industry. So something like that I think would benefit, or just like presidents of organizations also on campus.
Yes, thank you. There's so much to talk about. I think there's a lot of room for improvement and growth, and looking at model practices like what Ram has shared with us today. And of course, as Bryce and others have mentioned, it's not a one size fits all. We have different needs. Interns have different schedules and different needs as well. So we can tailor our programs to them. But I think there's room here to explore some growth in internships in our area. So working with the chamber, working with I see DOR and other organizations commenting in the chat, Grand Canyon University as well. I think that was Jenny, maybe, or Lisa. I can't remember, one of the people without video who was from Grand Canyon. But I think there are ways that we can partner. So let's definitely keep it up. Do we have any closing questions or closing comments from Ram or Margaret?